there's always that one bee. Always that one bee. That's the agitator. Well, hey there folks. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome back to another day in my 2020 beekeeping season, where I'm taking you all the way from winter through to the next fall here in my small operation in southeast Louisiana. And remember, this is not a how-to video. I'm not trying to be some kind of expert on YouTube. Just simply showing you my season as I go, step by step, from one end to the other. But if you happen to pick up any tips and tricks, man, that's great. And if you have any tips and tricks for me, be sure and leave them in the comments. But I've got a list of things to do, and I've got a couple to check for queens right now. And then I think there's 2 more left after that. And so I'm not going to do a ton. I'm going to go through the highlights of my list, knock it out, and get done. Because now we're starting to stabilize with it. Once we have queens going, and I've got doubles on everything, we're at the point where we're stabilizing now, and we're waiting for a good nectar flow. And then it's going to be time to start stacking supers. So that's kind of where I'm at. Got a couple nukes here and there. Always continue monitoring those. Here in Louisiana, I'm looking at blooms all over the privets, seeing some that are bloomed, and I'll show you what I'm looking at, okay? You can see that's got blooms on it. Those are all over these hedge bushes, basically. There's one that popped already, but that's early. And they'll begin to pop here pretty soon. And down here, what we see is this is April 3rd, by the way. And what we see is by mid-April, we usually have a pretty good bloom up through the end of the month. And this bloom lasts, and since it lasts about 2 weeks, but it comes in spurts. It's a pretty good build-up one. If we've got honey supers on now, we can actually get a box of honey off of that. But the main goal of this one is just to build up, and that's what I really like to have done is use this to build up. But obviously I take advantage of the opportunity to collect honey because this is a very floral honey. This and the honeysuckle, it smells so flowery, and people really like that. I personally don't like it. It's very strong for me, but a lot of people do like it. It's a very light honey. It doesn't seem to crystallize near as fast. And then when I say it's light, like it looks like Karo syrup in a way. It's pretty clear in some cases. Some years it has been. But that's coming, and then our main nectar flow here is going to be about first week in May. We begin to see tallows dropping tassels off of them, and when they get to about mid-May, they're in full bloom all the way through June. And that's our heavy nectar flow. And if that thing comes in, we'll load box after box after box. That's a major flow. So we only hope. We don't know. This is agriculture, basically. It's not a guarantee. Things have to be right. Rain has to fall at certain times ahead of the blooms and things like that. I need to get busy, knock these few things out on my trusty list here, and take y'all along with me. Let's see if we've got some new queens. Let's take a quick look at a couple weak hives and whatever else we may lead to. Y'all hang out, and at the very end of this video, I want to show you a little something I did with some beeswax that I see people neglecting a lot in the videos I watch. So stay around to the end. I want to show you something. What's happening in an old abandoned hive? We should have brood moving out. We got brood moving out. My plan for this hive is to take these honey frames. Alright, they're all good honey frames, and stick them in the freezer. Then what I'm going to do, see, I don't want them they're putting fresh nectar in, I don't want that. Then what I'm going to do is take them and then put them in hives that need feeding. I might even keep his old supers just to put them in hives, just to feed going into winter or what have you. Yeah, looks like all the brood has emerged and we're backfilling with nectar. A little bit more. A little bit more brood. Yeah, they're backfilling it with nectar, which is what they're going to do up top. See if there's any significant brood. If not, this will come off. folks. There we go. Alright, that's the abandoned hive. So guys, remember we put a queen excluder. We got our queen down here. Got plenty of brood going in. We got empty brood now. They've come out of this machine. And it's almost empty, hardly any honey. This one's got about half a honey. All the brood's gone. I'm going to take those off with a fume board, run the bees down, put new supers on because they're putting honey up here. I'm going to put one super on there. Alright. I'm going to mark that off my list. Anyway, I'm over here in my yard and I got down next door and took care of looking at number 26, the old abandoned hive, and yeah, it's due to change supers out now. I'm gonna change supers. The brood is out of there. I'm happy with that. I want to come over here. I got a queen check to do. I need to check a nuke for strength. I'm gonna pop a top on a couple of these singles, see if we're ready for deep soon, and I'm gonna tell you a story about the swarm I caught the other day and tell you what happened. It's a wild one. So this is number 1, and all I'm gonna do on this one, this is a brand new queen. Just started laying about a week ago. I want to see how many frames of bees they got. See, well, I smoked them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 frames. So they're about where they were. Gotta give her time now. So we always gotta remember, these hives get split. They do 4 to 6 weeks in between getting queens and all that. So they're not gonna have a lot of brood. They gotta build back up. That's why I don't like doing them too late. And we're gonna have the privet flow to build that second deep up. That's what that's all about. Let's look at this one next door. Just looking at numbers. See if they're in this top we put on. Oh, I got some beetles in there. Yes. Not spread across yet, but they're in there. So we're looking at, that's what we're looking for. Good deal. What I want to be sure is that when the privet flow does hit, I'm ready with some supers on certain hives. While they're in the top, they still haven't done any drawing out, and that's obvious. Not gonna draw anything out. Why? No huge nectar flow. It's gonna continue putting it where they got space. Hopefully they draw soon though, because don't want them to swarm because they're putting it where the queen needs to be laying. We're not gonna go look right now. Why am I not gonna go look right now? Because the nectar flow is not that strong. Will it bite me? Maybe. What's this one doing for numbers? Ooh, listen here. They're pulling comb out. About a week away, we'll be putting a super on there. They'll be ready for one for the privet flow. So they're not going to build up, they're going to store honey. That's good. Now this is number 5. Still got a brick turned sideways, meaning it's still recovering from its split. Just had a queen cell in it last week. I put this super on just because they're big. I won't give them space. And they're still big down there, but they have no queen that's mated yet, so I don't foresee us seeing a swarm off of them. So as the nectar flow comes in, hopefully they'll take this and build it all up. I didn't want to see the frame in this because I got a queen going in the bottom. I think my date is her and one other hive, maybe 2 weeks out. Alright guys, I want to show you something right here. This was a combine I did without y'all. Think they ain't already mated the colonies together? I see newspaper all on the ground. Let's look in this entrance. Yeah, they've chewed through that newspaper already. Now in a previous video you saw where I went into a nuke that had been weak forever and ever. And doggone it, they didn't need a 10 frame. They were exploding. This one is not far from exploding because it had plenty of brood in it. Oh wow, yeah, I'd say, see, this is another one that's probably due for a 10 frame. Either way, they need more space. I can't stack nukes on top of this D-coats box, and it's because of the way the cleats are built on it. So I have nukes I can stack, and I built them, so I might just put them in there. So again, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them. I'm gonna figure something out, but bottom line is this one needs more space, so I'll think on that. I'm not ready to think on the go right now. It's a beautiful day and I'm lazy today. So guys, as I have an agitator bee bothering us, I want to tell you about that split that we got across the road. So, y'all saw the video, I hope. If you didn't, I'll put it in the link. And what I want to tell you is, so Shane was watching them go in, and I was moving the camera, and he saw a queen go in. And he goes, there she went, and she was real long. I was like, okay, cool, she's in, we're good. I don't care to look. I wish the camera would have caught her, but it didn't. So, but I mean, I trust Shane. He's got bees, he knows what he's looking at. So I go, this bee is so aggravating. There's always one, right? So I bring them over here, and I go in them the next day. And this thing is, like, I can't even pull the frames apart, guys, because they're balled up so tight. That tells me one thing. They're still clustered. They're clustered tight in there. Now, all that was in there was foundation, but it was enough to get them to go. I thought I had and I had a little bit of old beeswax on a foundation frame. But bottom line, they went in, they took their queen in with them, and I'm like, oh man, they're still clustered. Like, and I'd open the frames, and when I'd look at them, they were just all like in a cluster, like when you see them on a tree, just all lined up. They weren't working the frames, they weren't doing anything. So what it's telling me is they still got their mind set on swarming. So first thing I'm gonna do, I was like, well, look, I'll just throw a frame of brood in there. That'll keep them there, get them going. So I go get a frame of brood, and I put it in there. Then I pull, look at this one bee. So I put the frame of brood in there, and I take that back. I did have an old nasty frame in there, that's right. I knew they had some kind of beeswax in there, that's why they went in. Well, I pull some of the frames, and they're clustered so tight you can't see anything. And when I pull one, I see a queen. So I'm looking at her, and I'm like, she looks like a virgin queen. I'm telling you, she's short and squat, and I'm like, that's a virgin. Well, darn, maybe there's another one in here. I look all through there, don't find them. I pick her back up and look again. And guys, I'll be doggone if she didn't fly up in the air. I was like, well, great goodness. I said, well, at least I finally put brood in there. Because look, I'm thinking, queen flies away. They're still in swarm mode because they're clustered in there. Like, I've never had that happen where I try to pull frames apart and you can't get them apart because of the bees. They were festooning and clustered so hard. So I'm thinking, she's gone. She's gonna go up in a tree. These bees are gonna figure it out, and they're all gonna bolt out the door. Well, fortunately, I put that brood in there. I'm like, well, they should keep them there. That'll keep at least some of them there. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I get done, I put the lid on. I'm kind of a little frustrated at this point. This second queen, I only have one queen a season fly away. They broke the rules. So I go next door, and I'm like, let me look at this queen hive. They got eggs. Let me look at this one that's supposed to have a queen. I mean, technically I should check in the next day or two, but I'm gonna check now. Don't see any queen, no eggs. Might have one, but I said, I ain't got time. I'm gonna combine them. So I combine them, and when I take the board that one of the hives was on, 4 hives down, I look and there's a cluster of bees underneath. There's that virgin queen in amongst a bunch of bees. I don't have my clip on me. She had done flew 4 hives down at the end of that stand, got and landed underneath there, had bees around. They weren't balling her. So I'm like, pull my glove off real quick. I grab her by the wings. I got her, put her in my queen clip. What do? I take her, and I'm gonna pull the lid on that swarm again and go, okay, she's a virgin, so I can't really keep the guard on there anymore. And I got brood, so she should stay, so I release her. And I release her under the lid. I watch her walk around, whoop, up she goes again. She flies by, I reach out to grab her. Now, Mr. Ed has a story. He grabbed one in midair. I tried to Mr. Ed her. Didn't work. She flies away. I'm like, well, daggone it. There she goes again. So I said, the heck with it. I'll just combine them should I need to combine them. Well, I go in and I said, you know what, I'll just go out later toward the evening and I'll see. Maybe she'll be on the ground somewhere, maybe on another board. So I come back out here and I don't see her. I said, well, you know, just for the heck of it, let me go back through this hive. I go through the hive, and now that I've got brood in there and they've spread out of their cluster, although there's still some on the side clustering, I see bees walking around on the brood. There on a frame without brood, on a drawn foundation I'd put in there, there's a queen, and I mean long. Now surely she didn't go off and get mated, we know that. Not that quick, and surely she didn't extend in a matter of 3 to 4 hours. So there you go, a swarm with a queen mated and a queen virgin. And good day and good riddance to the virgin. I don't know where she went. Would have liked to kept her and put her in a cage and put her in a one of the hives I find if they're not queen right. You talk about exasperating. Flew away twice from me. One of them was my fault. Well, the first one was I shouldn't have held her up that long. But then to see that other queen, because look, I was frustrated yesterday evening, and when I saw her, I was like, whoo. And I did all that without you guys. Of all the days to do it without you guys. Not that you would have seen her fly off, but you sure would have heard me go, ah! As I'm walking around, guys, I want to show you this hive real quick. This hive right here, now this one, a queen excluder, is working. This here super was down here. They moved up. This is 11. They moved up into the super, and I lifted it yesterday just to look at the population, and it was heavy. It was probably a quarter of the way full of nectar. And so I under supered it with another one that's drawn, and they're doing just fine. I don't know. I'm hoping we can get some privet honey. That'd be fun. It's not necessary, but it'd be fun. All right, guys, so this is a split. A minute ago, I misspoke and told you I had 2 queens in waiting. I had 3. This one, I got number 20 behind me, and we got number 5. So those are the last of the splits. Those are the last of the splits that have to make queens. You got any promise for a queen? Good compact nest in the middle there. Sometimes it's frustrating doing your own split. When you do your splits, letting them make their own queens, it's frustrating sometimes because you're like, man, you went so far and then all of a sudden you got nothing. But I don't know. It's just then you gotta wonder whether you're gonna buy them or raising them is a whole different ball game. Now, if you're gonna raise your own, that's good too. But you gotta have resources, man. You gotta be able to provide mating nukes. That's a brood each, even if you're using a 2 frame. If you're using a 5 frame, it's a couple frames of brood. You gotta get you a builder colony. You don't have to have a starter and a builder. But anyway, so there's a lot of resources required to grafting queens if you do it right. You gotta have a booming hive to really make them, to get the cells started properly, to get a good amount. Even if you want a few, well, there's resources, Look at these queen cells. No, that one's already been opened. That's an old one. There's nothing in it. I'm not even looking here. I should be looking for a queen. I got polished cells all down the middle and a rainbow of honey. That's always good. But I had that on another hive with no eggs. I don't see anything that looks anything like eggs or larvae. We're looking for you, girl. There she is right there. Brand new queen. Praise the Lord. Now, brand new queen, you're going in. Is she laying? I don't know, but she's in there. I'm not going to worry with it right now. I had too many fly off. 2 is too many. Well, praise the Lord. There we go. That's a successful split, and the other half of this split is sitting down the road at the other yard. Hey, I'm coming back out of the bee yard. I decided what I'm going to do with that nuke that's full. I'm going to put in a double stack nuke. So, this nuke is full, and my decision is to pull it out of this box. This box is tight. It's hard to inspect when they get this full. My arm's in the way, I know. I can't stack it because of the configuration and the cleats. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in another nuke. This one's doing good. This is the little queen we started off with in February. She's putting brood wherever she can. New nuke. Aha, buddy. Why am I putting them right back in a nuke, you say? Well, I'll tell you why in just a minute. Let's go ahead and move them. Oh, merged out just recently. Look at there. They're going to supersede her. They're superseding her. This queen was a new queen in February. She was superseded right out of winter. All right. So why am I double stacking a nuke instead of putting them in a 10 frame? Well, first of all, now that I know they're superseding her, I don't know that I want them in a 10 frame because their population is going to go down. Secondly, if everything works out with the supersedure and they get her on back in, get a new queen in here. What I have now is an option to let them fill this up, and when they fill it up, I can keep this as a utility hive. Now, I'll have 2 nukes basically already configured. Say I want to pull the queen and put her in a cage and requeen somebody, then I've got 2 nukes that I can split and make 2 more queens out of. Or I can just take the top off and make it a mating nuke because it already have brood in it. You know, take whichever one off without the queen, just pull one off. Now I've got a mating nuke already configured. Everything's already configured for me by having them stacked up like this. And that was my goal in building some new, fresh, regular stackable nukes, was to have boxes that were already configured by the bees for me, to where I could just basically take one off and do what I need to do, split it into 2, whatever. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with it. That's the reason I'm stacking it for now. So we're done. I'm gonna put the lid on and go on back in, but I just want to take y'all out for that real quick. Well, hey there guys, it is the next day. I have went in, got a good night's sleep. Didn't do a lot of beekeeping yesterday, just what you see on the video. Went and cut the neighbor's grass next door. Took a good hit from a bee on those hives. And that little joker, you know how you'll get close to a hive and you get closer and closer and they're doing fine, you just keep pushing your luck. Well, I went right up next to it and finally one popped me in the head. And boy, she was just rung in there. You could hear even over the mower sound. And I'm trying to still mow without dropping my hat back on the motor, holding it with one hand, steering it. And I got her out and looked at her and she was smiling big. She had a good satisfied sting on me. So anyway, took a little sting, but I got busy doing stuff yesterday and didn't do the closing to this video because I had so much to do and I wanted to get cleaned up. But anyway, got everything done. I'm at a point now, I think, in this beekeeping season where we've got everything where I'm only assessing certain situations going on. So that I'm happy about. We got second deeps on most everything that need it, and as you see real quick through the video, I'm just zipping through looking at numbers. That's the most I did with any other hives besides the 4 specific things I had on my list of things to do. Just want to look at numbers. We're at a point now, we've got privet getting ready to bloom. We should be at a stage of the season where any second deeps that aren't drawn out or built up will begin to build out for the main flow, and those that are built out will begin to store honey from this flow. So we're at a good point in the season where I don't have to go now and check and work. And so I got 1 or 2 more queen checks to do on hives that were late splits, and we'll get those done probably in a week or 2. I think one of them's got a couple weeks to go. But we're done with most all that. Now it's just a matter of just leave them alone and let them build up. So one of the things we want to do is go out and look at the old abandoned hive, number 26. It's no longer considered an abandoned hive. I've pretty much got it all straightened out. I've got nice comb in the bottom now. I've got the queen in the bottom where we want her. And I went out there yesterday to check the supers to see if all the brood had emerged, because obviously we have no more brood laying in there. That old nasty wax and frames and busted up comb and cross comb and all from the abandoned part of the hive, I wanted that out and purged. And what I came up with was what I wanted to do was, here's what I did. I went out there, the brood was out. So, good day. We'll go ahead and get them all. I used a fume board later after the video. I fume boarded them all out of there, pulled those 2 supers, and I put 1 drawn on the bottom above the excluder and 1 foundation. As they begin to fill that, I'll swap them and we'll fill them both up. So that's good. We've got that. And another sign was they had began backfilling the brood that had emerged in the supers with nectar. So we're at a good point to pull those. So what I thought was I might save those 2 boxes. They have no handles. And I'm going to save all the frames. And what I'm going to do with those, I froze all the frames and I put the boxes to the side. I'm going to use those for hives that may not have enough food going into winter when fall hits. That'll be perfect because I don't need the boxes. Don't care what they do in the boxes. Don't care if the queen goes in them. It's honey that I can just throw in there. So anyway, the frames are good as far as for food. I'll use them for feed, and I don't have to worry about the frames or anything because I don't care about them. They're going to eventually be thrown away anyway because it's not my wax, it's not my stuff, but at least I can let the honey be used for a good purpose. So they'll stay in the freezer all through the season until it's time to see who needs food. Okay, so then the other things I need to do is go over to the other yard. my main yard here at my place and had to do a queen check on 22. Praise the Lord, we had a queen. 22's good. She requeened successfully. Very happy with that. Had to check number 9, the nuke, that was really growing good. This was a queen that had been superseded back in February of all times, and they'd made a new queen and were concerned about her. She started laying. She started doing really well. Had good brood pattern, but I open it up and there's a supersedure cell. They're big enough to go into a bigger box, so I wanted to do that. And so what I did was I put a nuke stack on there. I took them out of that D Coats nuke. It's a very tight nuke. I built them a little smaller than I should have, but they're great nukes, but you can't stack them because of the way the cleats are designed, unless you make special boxes. And what I wanted was uniform nukes. So I made some regular nukes with bottom boards, and instead of moving them into a 10 frame, especially now they have a supersedure, they're going to have a little period of time where we don't have a laying queen, so there'll be a break in the brood. It may slow the numbers down a little bit, plus they're working hard. Rather than put them in a 10 frame, and all of a sudden now they're weak, and I really should put them back in a nuke. In this case, now that I've got double stack nukes, should they get weak because the queen has trouble or whatever, I can just pull the top and they're still in a nuke. But at the same time, I put that nuke stacked like that because I still want to consider them a utility hive. And now I allow the bees to put brood in both boxes. And when I need a mating nuke, boom, I pop the box without the queen. I've got brood, I'm ready to go. Maybe put some honey in it or move some pollen around. But if it's a mating nuke, I'll probably be feeding them anyway. Or I can take the queen out, move her to a hive, and now I've got a queen, and I've still got 2 nukes designed the way I like them. You know, they do the broods for me and the honey. They get it all in both boxes. So it's already configured, and it's still a utility nuke. So that's why I chose to do the nukes like that, and that's the specific reason I built those nukes, because I've been using the D-Coats nukes for about 7 years now. I built them the second year I had them. They're great little nukes just to house in for a while. But then when they get too big, you got to expand them into a 10 frame, and I don't always want to do that. I want to start stacking them higher so that I have immediate splits that I can make for nukes. So, you know, there's all kind of options with that. That's why I got more versatility with that. That's why I did that. So we went through 22, found a queen. We checked 9. That was good. I showed you number 11 that's actually putting honey in one of the supers. Man, that's great. People like that floral honey. It's a very, privet is a very floral honey. I don't particularly care for it, but it's a hot seller, man. I'll clean out a 5-gallon bucket, boom, like that. So, but we usually don't get a lot of it. But when I do, I sell it quick. Okay, here's hoping that somebody stayed around to the end, or at least skipped to the end. Some of the folks I watch Burcombe. I watch people scrape Burcombe and throw it off the hive and throw it in the grass. And I do that sometimes. I did it with that abandoned hive. I don't know where that wax has been and all that. But I don't just scrape my Burcombe off and throw it away. So I have time to either ball all this Burcombe up and throw on top of a hive and come back later and pick it all up, or as we get into honey season when there's a lot of Burcombe, I'll keep a little bucket with me. So I had a little grocery bag, you know, the ones you get at the grocery store, and it had maybe that much wax in it. And then from just the rest of this year, from the beginning of the year, the videos you've seen me in, the stuff I've scraped filled it up the rest of the way. So the bag was actually about 3/4 of the way full of wax, of just Burcombe that I scrape around. But I see so many people scraping it, throwing it away. Save that wax, because look, I did a little grocery bag of wax, and you know, that's not a bad cake of wax. It's 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, about the size of a 1x. I mean, and that's just off of one little bag. Half of that is from this season, guys. Don't throw your wax away. But I am glad that I saved every bit of wax from all the cutouts I used to do, because I used to do a lot of cutouts, and all the different scrapings I did. I am so glad I saved that wax. I needed it in a way like you couldn't believe. And y'all saw, I did a video on rewaxing frames. I did 200 plus foundations. I'm glad I had wax. Save your wax, save your Burcombe, man. I know it's not a ton, but think about doing this. Now I'll have about 2 more of these over the year. That'd be good 2-inch thick, 2-inch thick cake. Not to mention some of the other ones I saved. I got one from a cutout it's like that thick. It's huge. So save your wax. That is a tip. I am giving that as a tip. Save your wax, because you know what? If you don't want it, send it to me. I'll take it. Well, guys, I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you're able to stick around for that last tip that I gave. Even though this is not a how-to video, I still wanted to give that tip about wax. I'm glad everybody, I really appreciate everybody that has subscribed, and I appreciate you guys that continue to comment and follow me. I appreciate everybody watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I sure enjoy making them. I'm having a good time making them. It's just something I'm doing for fun. Of course, it's, you know, subscriptions are going to lead to other things, but I do enjoy doing the videos, and it's kind of neat because it's like I got a bunch of people with me when I'm out there working. Because look, I do most of my stuff by myself. It's kind of neat. Feel like everybody's kind of with me out there when I'm doing it. I don't know if you guys that do videos know what I'm talking about, I guess. I don't know. It's just neat. So look, I appreciate everybody watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd surely appreciate it. That helps it get out there so that other people looking for bee videos and fun times can take a look, and it'll show up on their recommended pages. But also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload a video. That way you won't miss any of the action. There's a lot of action. But I appreciate everybody subscribe. I appreciate y'all following. And don't forget to share it with friends, family, and anybody just enjoys watching bees. Well, look, guys, this is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a great afternoon, and God bless y'all.